Hey guys, Sorker, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off. It's final trial time. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. To see Herlock Sholmes in the middle of the night, is she even boarding a boat? Or is she undercover? Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last. One that I would remember for the rest of my days. Oh dear, looks like it's a one-day trial once more. 17th of April, 9:32 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. Of course, Van Zeeks must be present for this one. Good morning, Gina. You still giving me the cold shoulder, man? I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we could do it. Yeah, I don't have my usual cheerleader, Susato-san, with me. So where's your friend, then? Oh, she's given up on you. No, I'm just kidding. This is sorry. You know? Her in a fancy dress. Susato, or however you say it. I don't know. Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. She hasn't given up on you, I promise. You alright with that, are you? Not really. I don't know how I'm going to cope. Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't meet again. One day. And if I did go meet her, she'll probably take me down because I'm refusing to defend you, you know? Even so. But you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have, and I'm a sleep-deprived Eastern lawyer who hasn't practiced for 2 months. Good morning, you two. Oh, of course, sorry. I always get the voices wrong when someone comes in from, like, beside us. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? Wagahai, is he even allowed here? Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Wagi? Yeah, I think he agreed. Nope, never mind, he's off too. Wagi! Great way to show your support, kitty. It's looking for the nearest carriage. Let him have a nose around. What I'm gonna do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? Hit us with the bad news. What do you say, Reno? Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Normally, whenever someone offers the good news or the bad news, they're usually tied together. So they're like, okay, actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna give you the good news first, even if you chose the bad news first. No, I always take the good news first. Might not live to hear the bad. Oh. Well, like we're gonna get sniped through the window in the middle of the explanation? Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there, please. I don't need a psychoanalysis right now. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. The bad news was a weather report? Okay, cool. Well, that's not bad at all. I'm happy now. So I hope that Susie made a train to Dover and that the train is delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Totally, I hope she wasn't delayed at all. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? Sure, yeah, it's fantastic news. Is it any way related to the case at hand, Iris? I couldn't give them monkeys, really. If only all good news cancelled out the bad. And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder, see? How'd you like that? Well, let them say what they want, see if I care. I can't, because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Reno will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? Really? You got a lot of faith in me. And then, in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be Discharged diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Reno? Okay, I didn't realize that Soseki was still writing headlines here. Oh, yes, let's hope so. Very optimistic boy we are. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? No, you just put a lot more pressure on my shoulders, and now I'm kind of grateful that Susie will be at least at sea if if Gina gets declared guilty in court. It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. This morning's paper, purchased by Iris. Gina's case features prominently. I'd love to take a look at that before we head on inside.
Good luck then, Ryuno. I'll do what I can.
What is that supposed to mean? Are you gonna, like, launch grenades from the gallery? Let's have a look. Alright, there's Mr. Winterbank. Pawnbroker perishes and pick price plunder.
How awful. For Ginny, I mean.
Oh yeah, let's forget about Mr. Winterbank. I'm pretty sure it was all fine and dandy for him. But tomorrow's headline will be Discharged Diver's Dauntless Do-Gooder, right?
Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger.
Bigger? How?
Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial. Perhaps.
Protects planet?
Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great.
Okay, well, I mean, she is a writer after all. Ooh, from what I could tell, it says Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Huh.
There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well, look. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news.
It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted? But how would somebody be doing that?
That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Ryuno?
Well, you know, business is drying up, and I've lost my judicial assistant. I might need to rebrand to Naruhodo International Espionage. No, of course not. I wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday.
Yes, it could be. And it could explain why he has Grexy running from pillar to post at the moment.
Really? The details of today's paper have been updated. This morning's paper contains an article about government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. Interesting. Well, since it's been updated, it's obviously going to be relevant.
Obviously. I don't know the law like Susie does, but still.
Oh, you're going to be standing beside me? We're going to need to find a milk carton or something for you to stand on. Oh, God!
I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement.
Okay, but you might need to put that away. We're going to get frisked on the way in. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. Especially when it's pointed in my direction, but... thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you.
Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Ginny?
Well,
I was wondering is all. About Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Yes. The operation was a great success.
You look so ecstatic.
But Hurley still hasn't come around yet.
Huh. So what, he's pretending to be in a coma? Of course we don't know. Like, in character, that is.
Huh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up.
I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news.
Oh.
Right. No Susato-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today. To prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Not that Sholmes was present last time. He woke up late. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom.
It's time then.
Yes. Let's go, Gina. Iris.
Lead the way, Ryuno.
Okay. I'll march on in. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. Yeah. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. Not the katana holstered on my waist. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. Oh, if only you were still here, buddy. 17th of April, 10 a.m. on the dot. The Old Bailey courtroom. There's the man himself. New jury this time. I didn't quite get a look. I was too busy admiring Van Zeeks' figure. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, even though my eyes are bug-eyed again. Lord Van Zeeks, my lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service? Just in case it comes up on trivia night this week. It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago, you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly. And here you are again today. It's like you got a grudge against me or something. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? Are you okay? Is everything okay at home? Do you suddenly not want to hang out with your wife, if you have one? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today, you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. You've become a bottom feeder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, Counsel. I have complex motives. There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large.
He means Mr. McGilded, who he defended against the Reaper 2 months ago.
Thank you, Iris. Okay, Susato doesn't have to spoon feed me at the very least. Yes, I just about managed to work that out. Thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, is that bug-eyed freak across the court. Those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies, only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East. The Nipponese. Oh god, okay, here we are. What? Did he really just say that?
He means you now, Runo.
Thank you, Iris. Thank you. Could have sworn he was talking about you. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? I haven't stabbed you in the back yet. I mean, not that I would ever. That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zeek's eyes. Was that directed solely at me? Or was he talking about all Japanese people? Mind you, I defended a Japanese person and he was innocent, so we're not all scoundrels. An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zeeks. I wasn't expecting things to get heated so quickly. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Have they been selected at random this time? Okay, 1 I recognize. Oh my god. What? So... What? You're kidding me. Okay, first off, we've got, I've already forgotten his name. Mr. Garadeb. We've got the maid from Trial 3. I don't recognize the 3rd juror. The 4th juror is the guy from the previous trial. 5th one is from Trial 3. And the 6th one is the freaking... revolutionary from the newspaper. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Former lieutenant in the British Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready. You know, his wife was guilty of manslaughter almost.
Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto was very appropriate here, I think.
Oh, who's this guy? Look, everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. He's the only new guy. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But could I have?
Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop.
This guy. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Oh god, this guy's a freaking terrorist. We got a terrorist as a juror. Come on, Ryunosuke, we don't recognize him.
Is something wrong, Rune?
Oh, not exactly. It's just... Are we sure this is at random? I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. This guy, he's too much already. This like Borat or some shit. Am I being punked? Where's the hidden cameras at?
Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they?
They happen quite a lot, don't they?
But it is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know.
Are they, though? So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Am I actually... Is this actually going to be a plot point? I kind of hope it is, because this is nonsensical. Then again, it's Ace Attorney, you know. We gotta suspend our disbelief. Very well. Now, Lord Van Zeeks. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Hopefully your collective IQ is more than 10. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. Okay. Strong opening statement. The victim, Mr. Pop Winderbank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. Right? As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. Okay. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory, so someone shorter than him. McGilded, perhaps. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say.
Hey.
The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed. The court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. Alright, the autopsy and a photographic print. Report prepared by the Scotland Yard coroner that confirms instant death due to a single bullet wound from the back. There are no other signs of trauma. Okay. Photograph of the victim found murdered in the storeroom. It shows the single bullet wound in the man's back. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. Man, he's just throwing evidence out there. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry. A door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. Yeah, but how stupid would you have to be? Like, I'm gonna murder someone, then I'm gonna lock the door, and I'm just gonna have a nap, you know? Like, it just seems so dodgy. I mean, obviously, it's a locked room mystery, so you have to be like, well, how did they lock the door? If you can't figure that out, then you're screwed. The victim, Mr. Winderbank, and the accused. Oh. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet.
Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that lives in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl's guilty as hell.
I object to the gallery. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. Not everyone can afford to just pour goblets like this. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. This is just the tip of the iceberg, you amateur. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Oh, right, of course, those 2 silhouettes we encountered. Good gracious! After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pick-purse, or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. Well, I mean, she's somewhat smiling smugly. Since we're all about alliteration today. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zeeks. Cool, once I get these two, I'll review everything he's presented. At once, my lord. Crime scene floor plan. The plan of Windebag's pawnbrokery, the scene of the crime. It shows the relative positions of the main shop and the rear storeroom. And we've got a gun belonging to the victim, Mr. Windebag, that Gina was holding when she was found unconscious. There are signs of a single discharge. This isn't good. No, it's not. He's coming out the gates storming. Okay, autopsy report. Pop Windebag, male, occupation pawnbroker on Baker Street, time of death 1 to 1:30 a.m. Reporting party was me. Postmortem findings, single bullet wound at upper half of victim's back, no other visible signs of trauma. Instant death from our postero-anterior. Bullet wound to the heart. The bullet entered the body from the back on a gently rising diagonal trajectory. The coroner was Dr. Stevens. Okay, crime scene photograph. Not a lot to analyze here. No, we just got the bullet wound, really. I don't see anything else. Okay. The floor plan, simple enough. We already know what this place looks like. Finally, Windebag's gun. Anything of note? Let's check the cylinder. This is Mr. Windebag's gun. The cylinder is completely empty.
Mr. Windebag always used to keep this gun to hand on his shop counter.
Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand.
That's right. To keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe.
But his one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Normally he would have aimed it at his head, but this time he got shot in the back from a rising trajectory. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe. Can we confirm that the bullet was fired from this gun? I think they said that they have, but I don't know for sure. Nothing else really noteworthy about it. Okay.
Whew. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Reno.
Yep, that's why usually adults just stand behind this bench here. I think that's because it has. Oh, damn! Oh, okay. I thought he was about to do his finger pointing. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windebag on 16th of April of this year. He's not wasting time. He's tired of losing to me. Oh, it's you two. Oh, Inspector Gregson. You're not in cahoots with them, are you? Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court.
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is,
baddie. Professional baddie.
Name's Ringo Skulkin.
Occupations, same as Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulking Brothers. What? Inspector Gregson is with you guys? What are you looking at me like that for? Don't lump me in with you lot. Plus, this guy's pretty short, isn't he? God blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night we came across you. The very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash, he is. The very spit of him. So we decided there and then what we was gonna do. We was gonna call you a crunchy, big bruv Skulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Sulky Skulkin. And that's before he's run out of chips. Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, whatever your name is what you are doing on the witness stand. The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they? These three? So, what makes you think we can trust anything they have to say on the stand? They were present at the crime scene. Of course I'm gonna point fingers at Gina. No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot. I mean, that credibility is already shattered. 2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, and they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say... What an extraordinary coincidence! That's what this game's all about, man. The great Ace Attorney coincidences. Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. I like how he's standing on a box, but Iris isn't. Order! Order! The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. Although, it seems like only the crimes I'm involved with get, like, a trial the next day, rather than, you know, these guys who get a trial in the near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Thank you, Judge. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question, and what exactly you saw. Happy to. Cause a skulkin's never skulkin. Get out of it! I'm eating my chips. Witness testimony. Illegal entry. Who was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the Goff's door was ajar, say? It was like some kind of sign. Begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, call blimey lummy. We heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We after that, nice and quiet. Really? You shot Sholmes. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Okay, well, that just proves they were there. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. And within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes.
What's the matter, Rene?
Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair on the stand. I know that it's all nonsense, because I saw it with my own eyes. I should be on the stand. I'm a witness. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Let's do it. Obviously, they didn't go quietly, so let's focus on that statement first.
What do you think about this pair, Rene?
I think they're lying through their teeth, that's what I think. And I'm going to prove it. What? What is it, Iris?
Well, I'm not really sure. There's just something a bit funny about that prosecutor over there.
Wait, could this testimony be some sort of a trap? Is he just lobbing a softball at me? Okay. I'll bite. I don't have anything concrete to present, so let's press it and see where it goes. You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story? But it was Bedlam soon as, wasn't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out me Lucy Lockets. God. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left nice and quietly, you say? That's right, Governor. Nothing we hate more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out me Lucy Lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe... come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Ah! Blimey, Governor! You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway? It was. I cut the bullet in half. That's why I wasn't hit. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes.
They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I didn't hear that, actually. It was a rumor he'd been rushed to hospital.
The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. And this gun was not the one used to shoot. I'm guessing that's where Van Zeeks is leading this. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. Here we are, a different gun. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. The SKULKIN brothers' gun has been entered. A firearm found in the possession of the SKULKIN brothers upon their arrest. There are signs that a single round was fired. Alright. Drink break. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Hang on, hold it. Hold it. Let's have a look. So we got 2 revolvers. Anything special about this one? Nothing particularly. So, there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders. Should we really be presenting it as evidence if it's still loaded?
Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it.
Exactly.
The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it?
Yes. It happened almost as soon as we'd walked in through Windibank's door.
I'll make those brothers pay.
Okay. Not right now, though, okay? We still need them. Yes? Here's to your successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are the telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from its cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection!
Well, I don't need evidence. I was there. I can testify. Because I was there.
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. So what? Yeah, so why are we listening to these brothers then? You can listen to me. I've got a lot more credibility, sort of, maybe, I don't know, because I have a bias. I do have a client. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these 2 fired that gun before they left the Windibanks that night? It's all over their faces. It's dripping down. The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night? Okay, sure. Why not? Let me present. I guess it has to be the blood sample, so this was the bullet that shot Sholmes, so this is Sholmes' blood then, right? It has to be. Let's present it.
Take that!
The evidence is in this portfolio. What? What on earth have you there, counsel? An alien's blood? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Okay, you told me to gather some freaking evidence, okay? And then when I present the evidence, you're like, oh, you didn't trust the police to do that? Well, shit. They're on your side, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? Well, anyway, ignore what you just said. We analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein? Yes, my lord. No more dallying then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? Oh, which sample? It was this one, obviously.
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Windibank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April. on the very day of the pawnbroker's death. Thankfully, he managed to change it. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right. I could have gotten Iris to explain that to you. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Wah! Luckily he didn't fall off his box. Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zeeks? Yeah, that's right. God, you're a real hard ass sometimes. I'm a bit pumped up because he's being biased against Nipponese men. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? Oh, there we go. But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes. On the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claimed to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street. So you knew all along, you dipshit. you just wanted to take the chance to be a pain in my ass. Ah! Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup. We had a deal. You weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zeeks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. How about a word of apology? What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. The one bullet has been fired, and it was fired at Herlock Sholmes. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zeeks? As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brothers' gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. Oh. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Winterbank at all. So that's it. Secret handshake time. These guys are hilarious. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's why I reckon. Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget attempted murder. Quite a catalogue, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv. Now then. Let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric? Says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Excellent. I knew we'd have to rely on these photographic prints at some point. Hey, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to the small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. Let's have a look. 8 p.m. 8:30. 9. 9:30. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. Yeah, well, hopefully in the future we can have 24/7 CCTV, alright? Yep, my lord. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. I mean, I suppose it's better than nothing, right? On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. Here, that's a bit of Friar Tuck, eh, bruv? Lay looks a skulkin. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1. Right, bruv? Must have been Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment, what scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. 1 a.m. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God, I can't look at this. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. No. What? No, God. Ah, turn it off. Turn it off.